Hello there, fellow makers. Your buddy Bill here again in our little basement shop. Since we've put out our last few videos that all have been in here since we moved back into the basement, many of you have left comments about our prop wall and all of the stuff we have hanging up in here. And I thought, now's a great time for a prop tour. Plus, believe it or not, it's kind of hard for me to believe, 700,000 of you have subscribed to this YouTube channel that we started just about 10 years ago. And that seemed like a good way to mark the occasion. But first, I absolutely have to thank a small but extremely dedicated group of you who have supported us through the Extra Credit Club. It's like 600 or 700 of you who feel that educational content, creative educational content here on YouTube is worth supporting with your money. It's literally because of this tiny group of people that Punished Props has survived at all. I'll be totally real with you, the last 3 or 4 years have been a massive struggle for us. We tried something kind of crazy moving into our big shop and hiring people. After rent and utilities and employees, we barely made more than we spent. And the income we got from our Extra Credit Club was the make or break point between us literally going under. And we came a lot closer to going under than I care to admit out loud. So yes, the regular support we get from our Extra Credit Club meant that Punished Props Academy survived. So thank you very much. If you haven't had a chance to join yet, but you also believe that not only does creative educational content deserve to survive, but thrive here on YouTube, there's a link below where you can join, and we would be overjoyed to have you over there. We have extra videos every single week for you. We have a vlog we put out every week. We also put out another video most weeks that's either a shop project of some kind, or we'll do director's commentary on some of our older videos. Those ones are really fun. We'll have a link to some examples for free if you want to see what you're missing out on down below. $5 a month from you makes a huge difference to us and our tiny family here. So thank you very much for considering your support. You guys are amazing, wonderful human beings. Please keep it up. Let's get on with the tour. We've got our little electronics station set up over here, and up on the wall we have a handful of wonderful projects. In the upper left, we have a World of Warcraft sword that Brittany made. I believe Viscang the Bloodletter. If I'm wrong, you'll let me know. Dropped off a Nixia that Britt did for a Nixia costume. Here we've got Reaper's shotgun from Overwatch. That's a model done by my buddy Jordan over at Henchman Studios. I believe we have a video where I did a little repair on that one. Up here is Star-Lord's blaster. This was a toy that we modded, and we have a full video on that. We've got Shovel from Animal Crossing. We have a video on that and the net, the bug net. This is the Dragon Dagger from Power Rangers, and this was purchased. We got this, I think, at the Think Geek store, and it's a really cool prop. It's got some metal pieces on there too, which is really nice. Below that, we have our lightsaber. This is the version from the last Star Wars movie with the leather wrap on it that Rey used. We have a whole video on this we did with our friend Sophie Wong. And then down below that, we have the Whammer, I believe we called it, a hammer slash wrench. So it's for a cyberpunk costume. We have a full build on this video. I believe it was a one-day build. I think we knocked this out in like one day. Still looks great. Over here is a lantern from Sea of Thieves. We were deep into Sea of Thieves for a while. In fact, we've got a map hiding back here so we can find our treasure. This display cabinet has a bunch of wonders in it. Up here we have a skull from Sea of Thieves. We have a full video on that, of course. This is a crown I made for our 3rd book. Here we've got an Overseer helmet, I believe, from Dishonored, made by our buddy Nick over at Modulus Props. And I think this thing looks spectacular. Next to that is a mini nuke that we made using the egg-shaped pattern for our dragon egg. And of course, we've got a full video on that as well. Speaking of Fallout, got some nice post-apocalyptic stuff in here, including 2 Pip-Boys. These were purchased Pip-Boys, came with collector's edition type stuff. And we've done mods on both of those, and we have videos on both of those as well. Here is a lightsaber handle that I purchased. This is not an original Graflex, but it sure does look the part. It's a kit I found on the RPF. This is a piece that I printed for Project Egress. This is a hatch latch for the Apollo 11 module that is now on display somewhere in the United States. It moves around. Big Apollo 11 hatch. That was really fun because a lot of makers I know were all involved in that project. More fun stuff here. We have a mask made by Chad over at Hoku Props. Here is our mask that we made. Of course, we have a video on that. That was one of our more popular ones. Hiding behind that is that dragon egg I was telling you about. Also a video on that. Here is our Hellboy bullet hiding back there. I love the shrink wrap packaging for this one. Of course, we have a video on that as well. And then this is a Blade Runner kit, a little snub-nosed Blade Runner kit made by Dave Goldberg. And we have a video of me painting that one. A handful more things down here. We have our Mist book. Of course, we have a video on that. We have a pair of masks that Nick and I made. We have a video, 2 videos actually, on these ones here that show off some molding and casting. Nick did that one and I did this one. We've got a Wonder Woman crown from our buddy Rarbomb. And then a mask that we purchased from an artist, I believe in New York City. I can't quite remember the name, but this is the mask that we purchased and that Brittany painted. All right, moving on to the main prop wall. We have a lot of things to get through. Starting up here, a pair of Colonial handguns from Battlestar Galactica. I made that one. This was a gift from Adam Savage. This was a kit he got on the RPF, and I love it. We have an article, not a video, but an article on this build from way back in the day. This is a mask from our 3rd Foamsmith book, all made out of foam, of course. We have a Nerf mod that we did in a YouTube video a couple years ago, right there. Here we have the Ord, which we call our orc sword that we designed on a live stream and then finished with our friend Grace. And I believe we have a video on that as well. This is the Unkempt Herald. We had a whole series on this, which I enjoy because it shows every step in making a blaster from foam, including adding lights to it, and they still work, which is always surprising to me. We have a 3D print of a handgun that was a gift from my buddy Danquish. Thank you very much for that one, Dan. Next to that, we have a Spirit Halloween PKE meter, and I think they did just a bang-up job with this one. We have a video showing how we sort of updated it, but it didn't need too much work to make it look super legit. Next to that, we have, not a He-Man sword, a She-Ra sword, because of course it's got the gem in it. Britt did a really cool She-Ra costume a while back, and this was a kit that we purchased online, and then Britt did the finishing work on. Next to that, one of my personal favorites, this is Rose Quartz Sword from Steven Universe. This was a 3D print, and I absolutely love the finish on this. We did this catalyzed clear finish on it, and it looks spectacular. And of course, we have a full video on that. Speaking of catalyzed finishes, we put the same kind of catalyzed finish on our Lego sword, and this silly thing is just one of my most favorite things ever. It just makes me happy to hold it, like my hands are little C-shaped Lego minifig hands. We've got an all XPS foam, that's right, this weighs about 2 ounces, all XPS foam gun from Fortnite, of course. Full video on that on the channel. Down below that, we've got plenty of Skyrim stuff. So this is an axe from Skyrim. No video on that one, but that went with our Draugr costumes. Below that are a couple of Skyrim daggers. These were both gifts from friends. This was from Will Morgan, and this one was from David Reamer. And I finished them both up, and I think they both look spectacular. You saw these gauntlets recently in our Nazgul sword video. These are the gauntlets that I made with our buddy Adam Savage. I got to make those with him. So we have a video on the Tested channel doing that, and then we have another one on our channel where I did all of the painting on it. All of the Nazgul gauntlets that you could ever want. Next to that, we have a really old piece. This is Mehrunes Razor from Skyrim. This was a commission from, I believe, 2013, one of our early builds. We actually have a recent video of me painting one of these, if you want to check that out. Below that, we have the Judge. This is a mask from Far Cry New Dawn, the Far Cry series, one of my favorite series. Of course, we have a video on this. It's all foam. And then below that, some more Fallout fun. This is an axe that Brittany made completely out of foam and then rusted the crap out of it so it looks super, super legit. And we have a video on us making a couple of rusty props from Fallout. Here we have things that don't have a place yet. This is, it got me in the chin really good. Whew. a Dragonstone. It doesn't mess around. This is the Dragonstone from Skyrim, and it was a commission years ago, and I made one, and I believe there's a write-up on our website, but no video. Brittany finished this one up recently so that we would have one to keep. This is a shield that we made with Evan and Caitlin. The video for this was so much fun. We dressed up Caitlin in our Mass Effect armor, and then blasted it with a high-powered Super Soaker type water gun. So that was super fun. I also have another giant prop back here. This is an all foam and PVC pipe axe from Diablo. The thing I love about this is that it was finished using latex. So it's totally flexible, super durable, and it comes apart in 2 pieces so that it fits in my luggage. You probably also noticed that there's a robot standing behind me. This is Sweepy. This is Brittany's costume of the sweeper robot from Destiny, and we built a stand for it so that it could pose in the corner of our shop here. There's of course a whole bunch of videos on this build, and a video on building the mannequin to hold it up. Hiding back here is a little number from our buddy Andrew DFT. This is an all XPS foam gun from Mass Effect. And I bought this from him. He had a run of them going and I quickly gobbled one up. It's one of my most favorite things. I love getting props that my friends made. Speaking of props that my friends made, a bunch of these are kits that I've purchased or traded to friends. This is from one of the Assassin's Creeds. I don't remember which one, but it's a tomahawk made by my friend Fev over at Fev Studios. I got the kit and painted it all up myself. I believe we have a video on that. Hiding behind it here is a kit from Z Props. My buddy Xander made this hand cannon. I believe it's Fatebringer from Destiny, and I did all the painting work on this. We have a series of videos on this work as well. And then this is a kit that Eric over at Core Geek made. It's, I believe, the sort of Athena? Wonder Woman used it at some point. And we did a video with him showing how to use graphite finishes to do this kind of shiny metallic finish. That was a really fun project with Eric. Way up top here, an old project. This is a spear from Dragon Age 2 that I made to go along with my costume. I pretty much made it just for one photo shoot, and it was totally worth it. Other than that, it hasn't been out in the real world, which is fine because this is actually quite floppy and not durable, but it still looks great. This is a project I didn't do a video or anything on because I was so pressed for time. This is a knife from the newest Predator game, and I did a commission for the team that made it, and I made a bunch of them. I made a bunch of these knives for them. Below that, we have an Elder Scroll. Careful not to read it. Don't want to go blind or mad. This was a commission from years and years ago. I finally finished one up for myself, and this was our first experiment with gold leafing. Below that is the Hunter knife from Destiny, one of our more popular videos and a really good beginner project for foam. We have free templates for this one and a full tutorial video if you want to go check it out and follow along. Below that is Ray's Blaster from Star Wars. And this was probably my first real big 3D printing project. This was all printed on our Dremel FDM printer, sanded a lot, and then molded and cast. I believe I did a video on this. I've probably done several videos on this one. It's definitely one of my favorites. I love the lacquer finish that I got on that. Here's our cat's paw dagger from Game of Thrones. I really like how the handle turned out on this. I'm super proud of that. Of course, we have a full video on that build. Down here, one of my prized prop possessions. This is one of Harrison Crick's kits of the Valkyrie rifle from Mass Effect 3. He did a run of these for their Mass Effect 3 commercial, for the official commercial. I got my hands on one of the kits. Thank you to Eric Jarman for that, and finished it up myself, and I love it. It's a big hunk of plastic. I put some lights in it. Of course, the batteries are dead, but I really, really love it. And even put my own special touch on it over there because I accidentally put a drill bit right through there. But we don't need to tell anyone about that. I love this thing. This is a laser pistol from the Fallout series. This was my gift for the Prop Tart Secret Santa a couple of years ago, and I did all of the paint work on it. Of course, we have a video on that. Just below that, we have Mal's pistol from Firefly. This was our community build that we did, I think, for 250,000 subscribers, and a bunch of you built this along with me, and that makes me so happy, and I still love how this thing turned out. Below that is a more recent project. This is my Highlander lightsaber, and it is still one of my absolute favorite things I have ever made, and that's why it sits right behind me in the studio here so that I can see it every time I turn around. Love you. Oh, don't. Yep, say, cool. Yeah. Over here we have a gear. This is meant to look like one of the doors from the vaults in Fallout, made by our friend Fev over at Fev Studios. She also did this Assassin's Creed belt buckle that's just bananas. This is all hand carved. And then of course molded and cast, and I got one. It's just glorious. This is the Skyrim steel dagger. It's all foam, and this was done as a project over on Tested for their member videos. I did this with Norm, and that was super fun to put together. Speaking of Skyrim though, this is another kit from Harrison over at Vulpin Props. It's the steel axe from Skyrim, and I bought this as soon as he had it up for sale because I love the look of the steel weapons in Skyrim, and this is a cold cast aluminum finish, and it just looks spectacular. One of my favorite things of all time. Below that we have a couple of Blade Runner blasters. This is my prototype for the version that I designed, all printed mostly in ABS plastic. All the blue is ABS. The rest were done on a resin printer. This was what was molded and cast to make the final piece. Then this is an RAC props kit that I got from a friend. This was what started my obsession with the Blade Runner guns in the first place. And of course we have a video series on that. Full video on this too. Plus, if you want to get these files, we sell them on our website. Hiding way back here is the 3D printed and then vacuum formed panel we made for Captain Disillusion's Flight of the Navigator. He used this in his video, or he used one of these. I made two of them, and I kept this one for myself. Coming around the corner, we have a clock made by a fan, out of foam, of course. I love it. Above that are my most recent Wolverine claws. I've done several Wolverine claws. There's a couple of videos on our channel. These are the ones that I used most recently, and I love how they turned out. This Batarang is one of our first 3D printing projects, again on that Dremel 3D printer. We got a lot of life out of that printer. We have a video on this. We did a whole beginner series on 3D printing when we got that printer. Next to that is another Fallout prop, of course. This is another foam tool turned into bloody prop. We have a video on that, of course. Here is a more advanced 3D printing project. This was printed on a resin printer, a big resin printer, all in one go. And then we molded and cast it to make the purple edge, which looks really cool, especially if you put a light behind it. The light actually, whoa, goes through the edge there, which I think looks really neat. Of course, there's a full video on that guy. Above that, this is the Fell Striker from World of Warcraft. Not like the most advanced prop, but it was kind of rare, and I got it on my Rogue, so I needed to have it. This is made all out of foam. This was kind of a last-minute prop build for Dragon Con one year, and I went as my Rogue. Here's a pistol from the movie Oblivion with Tom Cruise. This was a one-year Secret Santa gift that I made, and I liked it so much they made a second one for myself. And of course, there's a video on that as well. This is one of my most favorite things. It's a Daedric sword from Skyrim, made by my buddy Fev, but then painted by my buddy Will. And he gave this to me as a gift when he lived here and moved back to LA. He left this with me to take care of, and I just love it. I love that it's something that two of my friends worked on and that I get to keep it. Down below, probably my favorite handgun from Mass Effect. This is the M5 Phalanx. I did this along with the N7 Eagle as similar kits. The top part gets hacked off of this and a different part gets on there. So this is a resin cast one. We have an article on our website, but no video on that one. This one does have a video. This is RoboCop's gun, and this was a toy, a very cheap toy. And it has moving parts and everything, and even makes sounds. And we did a video where we showed how to modify that into RoboCop's gun, and I think that was pretty successful, especially because this cost like, I don't know, $10 in materials. This is another gun model, bit more advanced. This is an airsoft gun, and we've 3D modeled and 3D printed this shroud for it to turn it into I think it was Dead Man Walking. I don't remember exactly, but it's a pistol from Destiny. And it turned out great and everything still functions, which is awesome. Then back to Blade Runner for a hot minute. This is the water gun that you could buy at some point. They might still be available. This was sent to me by a fan. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. And we did a video showing how I repainted it to look more like the movie prop. And then I put it back in the packaging because I love this packaging. Rounding out this last wall over here, we have the Boolean Gemini, one of my favorite looking guns from Destiny. This, we did a whole 3D printing series on it. If you want to go check out those videos, there's a ton of good information in there. This particular one was left in a hot car and many parts of it melted catastrophically. Someday I may fix it or I'll just put it in a tall, faraway dark corner in the shop where I don't see all the goofed up parts, but I do still love it. Back in Mass Effect land, we have the Paladin. I did the Carnifex and Paladin and I made a mold of it. No video on those, but there is a write-up over on the website. I love that one. I've cast so many of those. And then next to that is that N7 Eagle that I told you about. Again, there's a write-up on the website, but no video. This, I love the finish on this. Of course, it's super dusty. I was sanding a sword in here recently. But this is all 3D printed. This is from a Funimation movie that we were hired to promote by making this helmet. All 3D printed, and we use that catalyzed finish on there to make it look so shiny. Of course, there's a full video on this one. Why don't you open? Ah, there it is. This is my ghost trap. We did a mod of a Spirit Halloween trap. We did a full video on that, of course. And then the pedal was made using files from Sean Charlesworth and a bunch of kit parts that he sells over in his Etsy store. He's got a ton of good stuff over there, worth checking out. Get in there. Here is the helmet of my Mechanist costume, all foam and latex and dust. I love how that one turned out. We probably have a couple of videos showing some of this build. And then here is the net from Animal Crossing, complete with a butterfly. Up here, a couple more Destiny blasters. This one is all foam. I made that in a hurry before Dragon Con, so there's no video. But this one was made by Andrew DFT. And while we were in New Zealand, we traded one that I made, and I painted his and he painted mine. So we have a pair of videos on our channel and a pair of videos on his channel, both worth checking out. And then we have a couple of lightsabers. These were a challenge that Brittany and I did. We tried to make cheap lightsabers. We did a whole live stream and edited that video down on YouTube if you want to go check that out. That was super duper fun. And then these are some Nerf mods that we did. I know we live streamed at least this one, but I don't know if the video ever ended up on YouTube. Finally, the last thing down here in the basement studio is this fusion rifle from Destiny. This was completely made and painted by Will Morgan. And before he moved to LA, I purchased this from him because I love it. This is all completely foam and PVC, and it looks spectacular. Great job, Will. That is pretty much everything down here. I think we got it all, but we've got a couple more things upstairs in the office I want to share with you. Up here in the office, we have some classics. We've got the Doom Hammer, all foam. A full video on this one. I love this thing so much. It's so light, and I can wield it like I'm an orc. Makes me feel like a badass. And then, we have the Porcupine from Valheim. Another one of our favorites. We played that game a ton. I'll probably continue to play it a ton. And we built this, again, all out of foam, and we have a full video on that. Up here we have a pair of foam helmets. This was Brittany's Human Onyxia helmet that she made for a BlizzCon costume a few years back. And then next to that, we have Astrid's helmet from How to Train Your Dragon. Again, all foam, of course. And we do have a full video on this, including free patterns as well. Here's our Nomai mask from Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds was one of our favorite games, like, of all time. And Brittany did an incredible job patterning this and building it all out of foam. We have a full video on this one as well. Here we've got my Han Solo blaster. This is a Ruby's blaster that we repainted in a video. And then in another video, we did the leather for the holster. Of course, I've got another Hellboy bullet here. Just got them everywhere. Next to that, we have the Vash the Stampede revolver. Another one of my very favorites, something I've wanted to build for like 20 years now. Finally did it last year. This is all 3D printed, Not only does it have all the moving parts, and it even comes apart up here to show the plant inside, also the 3D files are available for purchase right on our website if you want to print one yourself at home. Behind that is Mr. Handy from Fallout, one of my favorite characters. And this one was 3D printed on that Dremel 3D printer. That thing was a real champ. And I believe we have a video on that as well. Here we have Hellboy's iconic sidearm, the Samaritan. This was a kit that I purchased from Harrison Cricks over at Volpin Props. And we have a video of me painting and putting it all together. Behind that is a kit of Baby Groot and Carbonite from my buddy David Reamer. No video on this, but it is still one of my very favorite pieces to have on display. And I'm surprised the lights still work. And then these two are some of my most dear possessions. These are the helmets that, actually Britt did most of the work on these helmets out of foam and fiberglass to make them all rigid. These are our Draugr helmets with glowing eyes, two of my favorite costumes we've ever done. And then of course we did Sea of Thieves pirate hats, and we have a video on those. Okay, to finish everything up, let's go over all the helmets. By the way, this is an IKEA shelf. If you're looking for a way to display helmets, this is a really great way to do it. Let's see if I remember what all of them are, all in one go. This is the Tank Commander helmet. That was a modified version that my buddy Aaron did, and we did a 3D printing series on that using a really cheap 3D printer. This is Lord Shax's helmet. I made this completely out of foam for my Lord Shax costume. This is the Judge Dredd helmet modeled by my buddy David Reamer, and I painted and finished it. There's a video on that on our channel. Here we have a Reaper mask made by Jordan over at Henchman Props. I did the painting on this. This is our Mandalorian helmet, all made out of foam. We did that for a video a while back, along with this Boba Fett helmet right here. We did both of those in one video, and it is currently our most popular video by a long shot. All foam. Next we have a pair of Dragon Priest masks that Brittany made, both a normal one and one with wood grain on them. Here we have a Dragon Age helmet that was from Alan Amos, and Sarah, I think, did the sculpting on it. It was a kit that I finished. Here we have a Mass Effect Phantom helmet that Brittany made. This was her first 3D print that we farmed out to Shapeways. It was very expensive, but it looks great. This is a helmet that I made to show off the foam stamps, and we have a full video on that. This is Wheatley. This is a prop that Brittany made for her Chell costume 10 years ago. Oh. Here's a Red Hood helmet. This is a kit sent to us from our buddy Tom over at Sorenzo Props, and Britt did the paint on that. This is a prototype cardboard helmet that I made for Adam Savage for some sort of laser cut kit he was selling. This is a Master Chief helmet that you can buy in the store. I found it at Goodwill for like $5. I couldn't say no. This is a Kurgan helmet. This was done by my friend Alyssa. We both love Highlander a lot, and she gave this to me. So thanks, Alyssa. I promise I'll finish it someday. Finally, this is another EVA foam helmet that I built as a prototype for a kit. Whew! That was a lot of props. In fact, we'll probably count them and put a number right here. That's how many props there were. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you have questions about any of these props, remember we have videos on many of them. Of course, you can just leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, following along, and participating with this weird experiment that we call Punish Props Academy. And once more, just thank you so much to the kind souls who spend their hard-earned money directly on supporting our channel, whether it's through the Extra Credit Club or if you bought one of our books or knives or anything like that. Like, it legitimately has kept us employed for the last, well, for me anyway, almost 10 years now of doing this full time. So thank you so much. If you want to see creative educational content, not just survive, but thrive here on YouTube, please reach out and help when you can. We appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Share all your projects with me. I love seeing them on Instagram and on Twitter. And until the next video, happy crafting, folks. Take it easy. We'll see you later.